it may look like nothing, and it does look like nothing, and I don't know how it's gonna grow, but with a little bit of water, what they're doing is they're just laying it down, and they just throw it on the top soil, and it grows. We're in front of the greenhouse, which is not too far from the ASD, Alternative Special Detention, and this is going to be the home base for our project.
Food that we do harvest here is taken to food banks around the city to help feed the hungry, and so that gives me a feeling of accomplishment, knowing that somebody will benefit from what we do here.
I was raised on a farm, northeastern Pennsylvania. And we started a program here in probably about 92, ran for 8 years.
This is the man that taught me everything I know.
Then it got shut down and he's starting it up again.
Restarting.
He's real, modest. I'm working with these gentlemen. What we're doing is we're growing starts in this greenhouse and distributing them all to community gardens all over the city, and then the produce is going to go to local food cupboards. And we're gonna grow behind the prison and possibly extend the garden back here and use some of that produce for the same cause, and also hopefully eat some of it here.
Chill over here, guys.
Okay, we have to get to work. Not that we're brushing you guys away, but we have to work. These are the measurements we made this morning for the beds. There are people in need out there, and there's a lot of food that's thrown away every day. And with what's going on in this world now, we have no room to be throwing nothing away. So that's what we're gonna set the beds up, and we move the lines so we can be able to continue moving. Tillering, I should say.
The next troop comes in, we're gonna have a brand new greenhouse to come into, beds, lawn, everything. I mean, it's just prep.
And that is the main goal here, to be able to help those who are less fortunate than we are. And that's the beauty of nature. And that's what he's been teaching us before the instructors came, the benefit in dirt, air, different plants, trees, even roots. So at this point, we're turning it over so we can start it all back up and, see it grow.
We have over 500 food cupboards in our organization. We're in our first stages of getting the food cupboards and the gardeners together, but in the end, it's going to be a great program.
The Philadelphia prison system is going to grow seedlings for our community gardens. So we're in the process through this program of renovating that greenhouse, starting a garden outside on the grounds. The community gardeners are going to get those seedlings and grow the vegetables. We have 20 community gardens participating. So Share, in collaboration with their food cupboards, who are critical partners to them, are really going to help with this distribution. So every one of you is integral to the ultimate success of this project. No one entity can sort of do this by themselves. So we're all linked.
My name is Gladys Allen. I'm a church clerk at St. Paul Baptist Church at 10th and Wallace Street, so I should be seeing you people. I'm at the other end of the garden. In other words, I would be getting what you produce.
and we would appreciate it. Our motto is, if you eat, you qualify.
We're working with Philadelphia Green and the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society to develop a new program called City Harvest. And City Harvest is a program where we are matching up food cupboards with local gardeners. People who have a passion for growing are going to be giving that food to people who have a passion for giving, and it will provide a tremendous amount of healthy, fresh produce to people in our community who have sugar diabetes, high blood pressure, who are overweight, and this will actually help reduce those incidents of health concerns in our low-income communities.
They first brought it to our attention about the program. They had a group of us volunteer for the cleaning of the greenhouse. You know, we got all the flower pots out. To see the strings coming up, it's major. So I'm very delighted. I am.
The only time we really get to get outside is the yard. And that's just to play basketball, lift weights, and just walk around the yard. I want to get that twice a day, but the space is so small, so like, you just be happy. That's why I didn't think twice about taking this job.
I mean, the food's going to somebody else. Hopefully we can get some cherry tomatoes out of it.
Maybe beneficial flowers here, because it's the first bed.
Okay. He's got all sorts of plans. Just do what she said.
That's all I do. I just shake my head. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Potatoes.
Yep.
Potatoes.
Yep.
And then if we need another bed.
Potatoes.
For potatoes. And then salad mix. In theory, we could at least get like 200 pounds of potatoes. We could get more.
Yeah,
definitely. This is pretty fertile soil, so hopefully we'll get more than that. When you're planting, if you put one potato in and go like that, you can use that as your measurement for the to the next potato. So
Go ahead and start dropping it in. Plant the bigger ones too. If you have a choice, at the end we'll plant the little ones. But the idea is the bigger the seed piece, the bigger the plant, the more potatoes you'll get.
2 in 1, just combined. See it? Got 2 heads. We stuck together.
This is the first thing I've ever planted in my life. So hopefully I get to see these things grow. But I just thought about when we was talking about potatoes, and as much as I ate potatoes and french fries, to think that somebody else did what I'm doing in order for me to eat them french fries. Ain't that something?
They gave you real potatoes with a Mr. Potato Head set. No, don't look at it. Don't look. You might be lying. Trying to give it an eye contact.
You had to get your own potato.
They gave
all
you
they
real
gave you was
potatoes.
the eyes, the ears, the nose, and the mouth, and the feet. That's all they gave you. You had to get your own potato. Remember that? Somebody will co-sign for me.
I ain't co-signing for it.
Mr. Potato Head.
All the dishes was never included.
Yeah, you had to supply your own potato.
When I seen the commercial, I seen a plastic potato.
I really enjoy it. I really like coming out and being able to plant things and digging up things and learning more about vegetables and food products and stuff like that. So I'm very interested, and once I plant my mind to something, I'm very strong with it, and I plan on a long-term goal, as in being involved with the greenhouse and different projects around the city. I've seen a couple of huge green gardens, and I'm really interested. It looks like people are taking care of them very well, and hopefully somewhere along the future I'll be able to participate in that.
you all already met Debbie, right?
Yes.
So she's actually at one of these gardens, and the green things on here are the gardens that are actually giving food and that you're growing the seed starts for, and the red spots are the food banks that are getting the food. So I just wanted you to know where the food is going that you all are helping start seed for. And then the vegetables from outside that don't get eaten here are going to go to a food cupboard somewhere right around here.
What I hope you guys learn from here, that you're not alone, you know what I mean? And you're part of the community, and this is a way to stand up. You know, this type of thing is something you're becoming, you know what I mean? And you have to maybe look at it that way. Make it yours. You own this.
I think this was somewhat help some of us to understand the law of nature, things dealing with nature, you know what I'm saying, about the trees, the plants, the dirt, not dirt, but soil, you know what I'm saying, and learning things about why is rocks existing, why is this existing, why do animals and plants and insects have to do with the soil.
Have you guys ever eaten food that you grew? So you're going to in a couple of weeks. So congratulations.
Oh yeah, there she is. Nobody's had any. Nobody's had the guts to actually put a ladder up and try and find out how many eggs are in there. I think we'll just leave her alone now and call her our mascot.
These are the transplants that the guys grow up at the prison. They are so happy. And this is probably mostly like familiar information, just general harvest guidelines before we talk about more specifics. If you don't harvest them more than once a week, they'll stop producing. And the thing is that the cucumbers, the summer squash, and the okra are the first prison greenhouse starts, so yay! So that's why we have that thank you board if you have not signed it.
I'm a member here at the garden. I enjoy coming here, planting and growing, and I'm on the committee for the share garden because I think it's important to share some of the stuff that we grow with others. I have some parsley, some basil. Over here I planted, it's been about 10 days, so it's time to remove this. These are string beans, which grows very easy. I had them covered up so the birds wouldn't eat the beans. You see the yellow blooms? You look close enough, I already have a nice green tomato in there.
Zucchini, okra, tomatoes.
Philadelphia Green's been a great partner and supporter of Liberty Lands, and about 10 gardeners are making space in their own plots to help us to harvest.
So I have 2 tomato plants and 2 pepper plants that I've dedicated to the effort to grow food. So that's how I'm doing it. And they're here every year for me. They come back, which is nice.
I'm a really lousy cook, so I rarely actually use what I grow. I end up giving it away to friends and family. I just like the process of it, of being outside and getting dirty and watching things go from seed to plant, and I like coming out every day and something is different, something's changed, something bloomed, something's... and eventually maybe someday I'll learn to cook.
My judge just signed off on my work release papers, so I should probably be out of here in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Jose Blanco, who was with me when this started, he was released about 2 weeks ago.
The purpose behind this garden is to build a community on the outside, so they don't repeat coming back in here. They're separate from, the community because they're locked up in here. But yet that's where we parole people to, right back to the same place where they came from. And this helps them to maybe understand, like, they're a part of that.
I like it. It's a peace of mind. It gives me a lot to look forward to, coming out here every day, doing a lot of things.
What kind of tomatoes are we going to put here?
Sun Gold cherry tomatoes.
Maybe, they had some contacts with some of the cupboard programs as growing up, if they lived in a poor neighborhood or their parents had, some money issues and they were in welfare or something, and utilized the cupboard areas. And we have the opportunity here to help with the gardens who help the cupboards. So it's this kind of like a holistic look at life, really. To beginning of, being able to help things grow in here. And taking that thought and really cultivating it.
There you go. That's nasturtium, by the way, Joseph.
What is it?
Nasturtium.
What's that?
It's edible, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We all make salads just to taste it, to see that it grow right. Ooh, that thing was crazy. That thing was good.
They lived in the city and they hang on corners and they don't even have an idea what the earth is about. And that's, it's neat to bring people like they're willing to give it a chance. They have a lot of things against them in here. Most of them have felony offenses and their family maybe is not willing to take them back, or they burn a lot of bridges. Most people who come into our institutions usually have only like a 6th grade education. They struggle with preparing a job resume. And it's sad, or they find they don't have a job history. This is an opportunity to create one. And to begin to look at the world differently, you have to have somebody, present a situation that maybe they can buy into, So it helps them heal, really.
I'm real proud of what we've been able to accomplish so far. We got a lot done in a little bit of time we had. Hopefully a lot of people get a lot more out of it than I put into it. I like it. How's your garden?
This project is important because, as you can see, the children really have fun out here, learning how to be with nature and grow things from seeds, from seedlings, and realize that we can give back to the community with our donations.
Sometimes I help my grandpa because me and my family live in an apartment, so we don't have a garden.
I've been gardening since I was about 5 years old. I know.
In the last couple of years, we've donated over 400 pounds of veggies to a neighborhood food bank, and it's something we've been doing quite successfully. And so through City Harvest, we're going to continue doing that.
These vegetables are from City Harvest. The City Harvest people, they wash the greens. They give it to you in a nice package.
I just turned 77. So when you're on a fixed budget, it's hard unless you really know how to budget every penny. But then there's personal things you have to buy. Your medicine, since Bush gave us Medicare D, thankful. He's thankful, I'm not, because before I didn't have to pay for my medicine. Now I got to pay for it. But this food program helps where I don't have to spend money for food and let my medicine go. So this way I'm getting both of them.
This is my community. I come for, when I'm in need. That's how I do. I'm on welfare and I keep it simple.
really?
Well, the vegetables are very fresh. The vegetables are good because if it wasn't, you know, we will sure enough complain about it. And every time I come to get it, it's fresh. But what's not fresh, we do leave behind. But we're blessed and grateful.
I love the fresh produce from my granddaughter. She loves vegetables and fruits. And she's a potato addict.
Some of these green things. You waiting to see some candy? You got some candy?
Ain't no candy jumping off.
She ain't trying to hit it. Okay.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
You are no more. Give him that. Give him that.
All righty, now you have a good day now.
I'm a diabetic. And plus I have high blood pressure, and it's all good. I'm on Social Security. And that little rent money and electric and water and gas and the food I do buy and my insurance, gobble it right up. That's right.
I run short at the end of the month, the beginning, the middle, like anyone else. So I get me back for me and my 3 children.
The majority of the people that come for food are unemployed. They're either released from prison and they don't have a home. And
one day you have one thing and the next day you don't have nothing. It can't happen.
So there is a need for food. And we're glad to have produce because that's what they need. Fresh vegetables.
The local gardeners deliver fresh produce every week, and it's absolutely delicious. It's all organic, and that's the best.
A week ago or more, they gave me a wonderful bunch of Swiss chard, which I love. It's bitter. And I took it home, and I cleaned it, and I blanched it, cut it up, and put it in the freezer, and now I'll have it all summer.
I'm a vegetable eater.
Well, don't forget.
I'm a vegetable eater.
Us seniors need those vegetables. They're important in our life, hon. We could live very, very comfortable with them.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming, that's for sure.
One of the great things about working in an urban garden is that you have to work with a lot of other people. So you get the chance to really get a sense of community because you don't have your own backyard or your own plot. You're growing and planting with a group of up to 60 different other gardeners to work with, and that creates a dynamic that you can't find anywhere else. This is a little more of a chance to establish a community place over time. 3, 4, 30 years as a meeting place for people to get to know each other socially and to get to know each other through growing and having gardens.
Before everyone leaves, we want to make sure that you have any extra row cover that you need. And we have tomato stakes, and you're each getting another gray harvest bin. And if you need more wax boxes, is there any?
Wax boxes.
Yeah. And then transplanting, like one of the great things about having the prison helping is that if you have a transplant, you get obviously a jump on the weeds.
Lisa tries to carry everything.
No, I do! All right.
How wonderful you are. The City Harvest Gardens are the Garden of Philadelphia Green Program. And
I guess we're heavily involved in it, and we have at least 4 or 5 plots that we are actively growing things for the program. We should have at least 1,000 pounds of better food, and our primary food bank is a church on 5900 block of Walnut Street, and we call them and they will pick up. And anytime we have any extra stuff that's not on their pickup day and time, we would just take it up to share, and they'll pick it any day of the week. We would like to set a prime example of what you can do when there's plots available. Anybody that come by and need a plot, they can come by and talk to any garden member. Well, I guess over the last 32 years at Aspen Farms, I just happen to be the one that at the helm at the time. We all work together. No one's in charge, but everybody is.
This is my home away from home. I like gardening. I like the idea that I'm planting something and I can see the fruits of what I've done.
It's my little first plot. My grandmother had a garden, my great-grandmother had one, and so I thought this would be a fine time for me to start one myself. So I'm proud of what's coming up right now.
On Monday, Officer O'Neill, I'll bring, thank you, that's going to my car.
Okay.
I'll bring balls, broccoli. A couple of them are going to Aspen Farms, a couple of in West Philly, a couple of them are going to Garden Run in Roxborough, Brewery Garden, East Falls, Hansberry, I think a couple more in West Philly, a couple of gardens in West Philly.
Do you have Aspen Village?
Oh yeah, yeah,
okay.
Is that your neighborhood?
Sort of. When they first made the Aspen Village apartments across the street, my parents were the first ones that moved in there. So when they first made that garden, so I would say something maybe like 25 to 30 years ago they opened up that garden.
Wow, yeah.
Because I was about 5 when I moved there.
Wow. Well, when you get out, if you want a lot, you can work in that garden and grow your own stuff.
Okay. All right.
We'll talk about it.
All right, no problem.
So we cover it with the white cloth to keep the insects off it. It allows rain and sunshine to get through and keeps insects out.
Okay. See it's coming across the ground?
It shows me. Don't be shy.
The ground. See right there.
Honey, if I can see that, pull it.
Yes.
Okay, pull it out. There's a small beat.
Let me touch it too.
Look at it. Look how long it grow. Yeah.
I mean, basically, somebody decided it was a good idea to eat this root before it's matured too much into a tough root.
Okay.
And if you leave it in the ground, it gets tough.
Well, why is they coming up out the ground, Mr.
Yeah.
That's from the heavy rains washing away.
I like being outside with the fresh flowers and the trees. I like the way they smell.
This program is like on-hands training. So they classify it as a job, but it's actually a program. They said we would get a certificate at the end of our 6 weeks saying that we participated. And actually, we're the first run for the ladies for this program. So another notch under my belt, something more knowledgeable. We're learning all about different trees, plants, vegetables, fruits. So now when I go shopping, I'll be more inclined to buy organically grown fruits and vegetables.
Organic stuff, he said,
it's naturally grown.
It's naturally grown and you get it right away. Whereas in the other stuff with the pesticides, it sits longer, like the potatoes, he said. And there's a big difference in the taste too. The spinach that we pulled out the ground today, it tasted real good, real fresh, as opposed to the packaged kind you get in the market, doesn't taste that good. It tastes
as good.
As good, you're right. It doesn't taste as good.
Before you're knowledgeable, it tastes fine.
yeah, that's right. Before we knew, it all tasted the same. Everybody always said it tasted.
Until we learned different.
So you learn different. So now you're better inclined to, when you leave, to spread the knowledge with your family.
Make the right choices.
Right, food choices, yeah.
Yeah. We shouldn't have a problem doing anything on our own.
It's organic. You don't spray no chemicals on it. That's the stuff you be getting at McDonald's that's all mixed up in that salad.
You could try some of these too.
I don't like radish. You don't like radish?
You don't like radish? This hot.
That one nice. Want some radish? You should try it.
How was it taste?
It tastes good. I think it's very good.
Look, she said she don't do radishes. This helps fertilize the soil. Nothing harmful for the plants, right?
No chemicals, all natural. Right. You want to make sure the soil surrounding the plant has enough NPK in it. So yeah, when you transplant, whenever we transplant down here, the first thing I'll do is make up watering cans of it.
So you just pour it just like this, or you see what it looks like?
That would be a 2 or 3 ounces per gallon.
Smell like fish.
Well, it says ground up fish. What do you think it's going to smell like?
Ground up fish and seaweed.
Yeah, it's ground up fish
ground
and
up
seaweed.
fish and seaweed. Some people have acted out of anger, like I had.
Right. Okay.
And that caused them to act in a way that was non-productive, caused them to get in trouble.
It's definitely a wake-up call.
Not to let your anger get the best of you. And then when you in jail too, the thing is, like I was telling a young lady yesterday, she was talking about fighting somebody. I'm like, you already in jail, now you locked up. Why you want to be locked down?
Right.
Why you want to go to the hole? I don't want no write-ups.
Gardening actually is very relaxing. So when I get out here and I can get me a little garden going on in my backyard, I'm going to be having relaxation, something that I can also pass on to my kids. My daughters can come out there with me, start gardening.
Things that we want in the fall, we want to plant now, which is June. So like the second week of June, things for like October, September, they'll get planted now.
We got to go.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow, Miss Uncle.
All right, take care. I look forward to it. Here's my lady.
Jerusalem Now was a response to a need that we found when we moved here, and that was that there was lots of problems about addiction, and addiction was very much at the root of a lot of the problems in the area. Well, we're working on our City Harvest garden, and we've developed it to the point we think it's a real important part of our therapy, getting people back in touch with nature and a feel for growing things and caring for things, and just the teamwork of working together and enjoying the outdoors and making a beautiful environment for ourselves, in our life. Every day we do community service, and you'd be surprised how important it is for people.
I was on heroin and I was on crack, and I wanted to get my life together so I can get my kids back in my life. I wanted them to stay in my life, so I came here. Because I've never gotten past 6 months clean, and then I want to get my GED.
What you call it, the earth?
The garden, like the cabbages, the collard greens, the kale greens, and we eat them. We cook them at the houses that we're in, and we eat them. So it's like a garden for the whole neighborhood. You can substitute vegetables for candy, potato chips, pretzels, ice cream, and it does your body better than the junk food will. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great to be clean, doing something different besides using drugs or getting high.
I'm an immigrant. I came for the American dream. I had a pretty good background, started really good, college and stuff. But somewhere along the road, I made a mistake. I'm out here being practical about how food is really put on the table. The interesting part is watching those plants growing.
have a little cookout here.
Trying to line them up so I can chop them, right?
Oh, it's him.
How much?
That's why I was saying.
He steps in and saves me half the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What are you here for?
This is great.
Isn't it? Taste good?
Yes.
You tried a little piece of this?
I'm just trying to eat these vegetables. I didn't never looked at them like I can eat them, you know. But now I taste them and it don't hurt to try, and it's good. It's just amazing how can you just grow things, you know, and just eat them and it be good. It's just amazing to me. It's all new to me. You know what I think makes it smell so good is the onion and the cilantro. Gina, how that taste?
Very earthy.
What were you?
When you think about issues of hunger, homelessness, poverty, nutrition, you know, it's integral to all of the issues that we have to deal here with our inmates, because vast majority of them are drug addicted when they come here. The vast majority of them do not access health care like most people would on the outside. Programs like this that I go to, inmates being involved in a successful program like Harvest, I get to see some progress, I get to see some result, I get to see some good.
In this country, if everyone that was hungry stood up, they would line from New York to L.A., back to New York, and back to L.A. again.
Today's whole coming together was one of those wonderful PHS celebrations, and every time it happens, I'm just moved by what people can do when they work together.
You are what you eat, and everything in this universe is just within you. So that's why we are connected as one. So we need the universe just as much as the universe need us. And I think that is the law of nature, that on cause and effect, or action and reaction.
My favorite vegetables are corn and carrots.
I like broccoli, potatoes, and carrots, and all that good stuff.
I love lima beans. They are just fabulous to grow, and you don't find them fresh very easily around here.
I love tomatoes. Oh man. Fried tomatoes, stewed tomatoes with some bell peppers, some onions.
I love spinach and I love broccoli.
Collard greens, turnip greens, mustard greens, anything green.
I love vegetables. Tomatoes, potatoes, broccoli, like I said, asparagus, all types of green vegetables, yes I do. Peas I don't like.
Purslane, great in salads. Has this oily taste, actually has omega-3 fats, which is very unusual for vegetable. Very tasty. Very cool.
Hey, you might as well shoot another one just in case.
And that orange stands out.
Yeah, it does. It looks good.